It's time for Season 2, and you know what that means. We got 4 new weapons, a new Season Pass, a giant scary grabby robot, this funny mustache, snapping, and med gowns. Ghost Ship really knocked it out of the park with the weapons this time around. The Crossbow is one of the best examples of DRG's upgrade system. This is one of, if not the most customizable weapon in the game. Special bolts add a huge amount of options and allow for a lot of different play styles to synergize with pretty much any build or team. I'm especially fond of mine bolts, which make bugs explode on death, and it does a big old AoE explosion. This paired with the M1000 is a real treat. Pheromone bolts are also fantastic, giving scouts something that feels kind of equivalent to lures. It's great for crowd control, which typically isn't scouts' wheelhouse. That being said, some bolts aren't as great. Tri-bolts are pretty underwhelming, and the fire ones are hot dog water. My favorite overclock has to be Bodkin points, which makes bolts penetrate and ricochet off enemies. It does decrease direct damage, but you don't notice that while it's bouncing around killing everything, so it works pretty well. To make up for the small ammo pool, there's an upgrade to pull mist bolts out of the wall from a distance, and it's pretty much a must-have. Overall, I'm a big fan of this thing. It has a lot of oomph behind it, and when you take down an enemy, their ragdoll just sails away. The crossbow shines best when special bolts are built to deal with hordes of enemies, while normal shots pick off single targets with decent damage. This design is a really effective way to make a slow-firing weapon feel more well-rounded, and I'm genuinely impressed by how well-designed this weapon is. Speaking of well-designed, there's the laser shoot beam gun, or as it's named, the shard diffractor. I don't know why I called it the laser shoot beam gun. This is the coolest looking weapon in the game, and the fact that it's powered by a piece of the Hearthstone fight is just a sick detail. As you'd expect, this fits NG's secondary bill of being extremely powerful. It melts through bugs while also being accurate and having insane range. There's quite a few good overclock options too. Volatile Impact Reactor covers the terrain in magma, and yeah, covering the ground in magma is pretty useful when you're trying to fight some bugs. Feedback Loop increases AoE damage over time while firing, and that's pretty nice too. The Shard Diffractor packs just as much punch as NG's other secondaries, but has a vastly different playstyle, and it's pretty dang fun. Moving on to my most anticipated weapon, the Colette Wave Cooker. This is for Driller, and it's basically a handheld microwave that you point at bugs and hurt them with. If it wasn't already apparent to those who had seen the teasers for this, it feels kinda weird to use. Compared to Driller's other secondaries, it's built more for AoE damage, and that's kind of odd considering how his primaries typically have that covered. It deals with hordes of swarmers and shockers very well, and during my testing, it seems like a good idea to combine this with Driller's primary. It doesn't really matter which one you're using, it works well with all of them. This is the weapon I spent the most time with. Some of my favorite upgrades were Temperature Amplifier, Contagion Transmitter, and Exothermic Reactor. On the side of overclocks, Blistering Necrosis is probably the most interesting. This places weak points on enemies while firing at them, and you can shoot those to do critical damage. Another good one is Mega Power Supply, which increases ammo count and fire speed while slowing heat recovery and cooling rate. I was most excited about the hand microwave because I didn't really know what to expect from it. I haven't really used a weapon like this before, and although it's a bit odd to get hang of, I'm enjoying it a lot. Lastly is the Coil Gun. I've pretty much stuck with the Bulldog most of the time I played DRG. I don't really like Burt very much. So the Coil Gun seemed right up my alley, combining the precision of the revolver with the ability to shoot through terrain, and that combo is much more powerful than you'd think. Being able to ping enemies and then see them through a wall and shoot them is pretty crazy, and it also makes you feel like a badass. The Coil Gun is super powerful, even if it takes up a third of your screen. If it can pierce through terrain, obviously it's going to pierce through a few bugs, and that's pretty useful, especially just having it by default. My favorite upgrade is Dilated Injector System, which leaves a larger damaging trail on each shot. On the side of overclocks, Triple Tech Chambers is pretty insane, letting you fire 2 extra shots after shooting the first charge shot. The recoil is kind of like rapid fire sneezing, but if you can get the hang of that, it's pretty powerful. The Mole is another cool overclock, increasing damage while shooting through the terrain. From testing it a bit, it doesn't seem super significant, but I don't know, maybe I was just like bad at it. I know it doesn't really have anything to do with like the usefulness of the weapon, but I especially love the reload animation choice and just the ammo type in general being like this little techie sphere thing that it shoots. It's just neat. I like it a lot, and the gunsling animation is fun too. I don't know why Gunner gets all the cool gunsling animations, but hey, the more the merrier. The rivals have doubled down on invading Hoxies, and now there's a bunch of new stuff to worry about. The main things to keep an eye out for are the rival signal event and a new guy called the Nemesis. Signal events are kind of like funny routers in caves, and you gotta shut them down by playing Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. It's pretty stressful and frantic, but this is probably my favorite rival event so far. I like that it's less combat focused. Next up is the Nemesis, which is a new hostile robot that lures in dwarves and has some big old grabby mitts. And I'm gonna be honest, I spent a long time trying to get this guy to spawn, hoping that I'd get a chance to fight it, jot down some tips and tricks for everyone so they could conquer this evil robot. And after countless missions, I finally get it to spawn, and then it was instantly killed by the refinery falling. So I don't know how to fight this thing, other than it's freaky and it spawned bombs on me, I think. So good luck on that one. Alright, everyone knows that was just the sides, and the real main course is the Season Pass cosmetics. The biggest to me is the new beard color. Every update I am drip fed one beard color, the devs have to, otherwise I starve. And I annoy the devs for more occasionally. I don't really get a response though. Sorry, Robert. This one looks pretty cool though. I really like the color. Other than that, I really like a lot of the new paint jobs this time around, especially oxidized copper. Jovial Majesty is a pair of truly beautiful sideburns. Swirly Droop is kind of like a mustache that looks like confetti. In the cosmetic tree, there's a set of new frameworks that was actually teased a while ago in a Steam community post. And hey, they turned out pretty nice. They kind of look like the world's coolest Nerf guns. For anyone who didn't get all of the cosmetics in Season 1, don't fret, they're still available, just through different means. Some of them were put into lost packs and cargo crates and missions, and some of them were put into the accessory shop. Speaking of the accessory shop, there's a new mineral being accepted there called Phasianite, Phasmophobia. This is found randomly in missions and is exclusively used for purchasing cosmetics. This allows players to put more of their credits and crafting resources towards upgrades while also getting cosmetics on the side. I'm really glad they added this because a lot of my friends getting into the game early just didn't really buy accessories very often since they wanted to save their stuff for the upgrades, and this is a great way to solve that, so good on them. And that's pretty much Season 2. Similar in size to the previous, and I couldn't be happier with the direction this has taken DRG in. What's your favorite part of the update? Is it a weapon? Maybe the med gowns? Or Doretta being in the space rig after you save her on a mission? Wait. Oh my god, Doretta. They also buffed pheromones. That's pretty cool. So yeah, write your thoughts down there in the comments, and I'll try to get to them all. Thanks for watching my video. Rockin' Stone.
Guitar lesson over.